What's up, professional homegirls? It's your girl Ebony here, and I hope all is cute. Okay? Now we are back with an oldie but goodie. And this episode, y'all, I actually recorded in 2019. This is actually one of my very first episodes. And also one of my favorites because, one thing I love about me and my guests, we be kikiing. And with this guest, it's so funny because she remembers stating how she vividly remembered when everybody started popping up with asses, especially in ATL. And I was like, yo, me too. Like, I remember looking around, I'm like, damn, every bitch got a fat ass. And now 6 years later, if you notice, everybody got a little ass. It's just so funny, but that's another conversation. This episode also takes me back to my early days of the podcast when I would spend days and hours and months just nonstop researching and DMing potential guests nonstop until I got a yes. And I know some of my guests are probably like, yo, this bitch is mad annoying. And it's so funny, y'all, because I also remember reaching out to a lady who was actually doing illegal ass shots, trying to get her on the show, but she kept curving me, which I totally get because, this is not something to play with when it comes to your freedom. But maybe I'll try her again now since we can actually alter the voices on the show. But beyond the laughs and the kikiing, this conversation was so good. My guest kept it 100 about her insecurities and also broke down the symptoms she endured when she realized something wasn't right. The details itself, because I could not imagine going from, I believe she went from a size 6 to a size 16. And she was stating how her ass was hot. She had a crazy infection and nobody knew what was going on until I think she went to the doctor's office and the nurse was Colombian and she was like, girl, it's the ass shots. But you'll hear it once you hear the episode because it was insane. So if you are considering getting silicone injections, especially the illegal kind, we don't judge. But girl, you can go get the real kind. Put it on Klarna. What is it, Klarna or Afterpay? This episode is for you. So get ready and let's dive in because I had my silicone injections removed. Starts now.
What was your body type like before?
Ooh, I'll say like a size 3, 1, 3, 3, 4, and no hips, no butt. Very tiny and just had boobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was.
So when you go ahead.
No, like a boyish type, kind of, sort of.
So were you a little insecure about your body?
You know what? I didn't know that I was insecure because I had been that size for so long, and then it was weird. Like later on, then everybody, some people would be like, "You're so cute," because I had my short hair and a little body, and it's like, "But you don't have no butt," So Then it's like, oh, you start thinking about that kind of stuff.
So what made you finally decide to get the silicone injections?
I ended up getting the silicone injections because I wanted to be more curvy, and just kind of really to match the boobs. Because it was kind of off balance to me. So that's why I ended up wanting to get it.
Now, did somebody put you on to a certain place or it was a person that was doing it?
It was a person that was doing it. I was in actually Atlanta working and I was talking to one of my friends and I'm like, it's so weird to me how it seems like everybody in Atlanta is doing with a butt.
Yeah.
And how is this possible? What is happening?
I remember that era because I was like, yo, everybody got an ass? Where did this come from?
Exactly. So I was just, and they just happened to say, oh, I know the person. And I'm like, you do? Oh my God. For real? And I was like, can I get it? What is, they told me silicone injections. So I was like, okay, I wasn't, at the time you were not thinking about health. Right. You just like, oh my God, I can get balanced out. I can be curvy, really feel like a girl,
Right.
And I was like, "Ooh, can I get it?" And I talked to the person, and I was like, "Ooh, I can come back in 2 weeks."
Yeah, what's so funny? I have a homegirl that I know who got it done, and I was just like, "Wow!" A lot of people were doing it at that time.
I got mine done in 2007.
Wow. So the shots were illegal.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
But like you said, I think a lot of people didn't realize because who care about their health when they try to look good, especially when you see everybody else doing it and you didn't hear anything about it.
You didn't hear anything about it, and I didn't know. I didn't even think about it.
Right. So walk us through the day when you first got your first silicone injection.
It was so weird because I was so excited. I was so pumped up that they was just like, "Oh my God, you got to calm down." Like I was so amped up, like, "Oh my God, I'm about to have a shape." Like when I say I had no butt, like none. So I was just like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," and they was like, "Oh, you got to calm down." So they made me smoke some weed. And I don't smoke. So it was like to mellow me out because I was so amped up. And when I got it, I was like looking and I was like, "Ooh, oh my God." And they was like, "Can you be still?" But I was like, couldn't believe it was blowing up like a balloon, you know? And it was just like, "Oh my God."
So wait,
like,
so what was the procedure? Because I know it is because I was there when somebody got it done. So was it somebody's house or?
Yeah, well, it was at somebody's house. And then it was just like literally like, you know, they were very clean, you know, very alcohol, rubber gloves, like everything clean and sanitary. But it was just like, you just get injection. You know what I mean? It was just like a needle with the silicone in it, which looked like water. And when you see it, and then it just was blowing up like a balloon and they was just doing it like in a pattern.
Oh, wow.
To like blow it, you know, to blow it up, your butt up. To make a shape, basically.
So when you were seeing this happen, what was like your immediate response?
I was pumped. It was like, "Can you be still?" But I was so excited. It was just like, you know, I get really amped up when I know I'm about to do something. So it was just trying to calm me down from excitement. And then afterwards, they finished and they just had me kind of lean forward and they just kind of like duct tape. It was like saran wrap. And then they duct tape around for like the shape.
And then how long did you? Go ahead.
And
no, go ahead.
I'm trying to. I think you couldn't sit on it for like 8 hours, if I remember correctly. And then you get in a hot tub of water, like a hot bath, and you do it like let it cool off, rinse, run it again for like 2 or 3 times, and then that was it. And it was like magic. It was like, "Oh my God, I got a shape." I didn't realize. Oh my God, you know.
How did it feel?
It felt like regular, like regular butt. It wasn't hard. It was just like jelly-like.
Yeah, I know you was feeling it.
Oh my God, I was like, "Oh, this is great." But you know what? Because I was so small, the first time that I got it done, it was like a normal size, like. Wasn't big, but it was like something there. You know what I mean?
I was gonna ask you, how many times afterwards did you receive the injections?
I got my butt done twice, and then I was so thin, I ended up getting hips too.
Oh wow! And was the hips the same procedure as the butt?
Same thing.
And is it expensive?
I guess it depends on the person who's doing it. I mean, it ranges from maybe, I guess, depending on how much, maybe 500 to 2,000. I think that's what the price.
Oh wow!
It just depends.
So when I was looking at your pictures, because I like to go through my guest pictures just to get a feel who they are and like, you know, just to prepare myself for the interview. And I mean, you are a beautiful woman. They're very talented, but I can tell the difference in your confidence when after you receive the shots, because you know how us women are. We'll just do certain things when we're feeling very confident.
Right.
So how did it feel to receive the attention that you were getting at that time? Because I can only imagine you was getting like a lot of attention.
It was weird. It took a while, an adjustment period for a long time. Like, what are they looking at? You know, It was like that kind of thing. And then you remember, oh, I got a butt. Oh, I got a shape. I look cute. You know, it was like that kind of.
And you were taking a lot of butt shots too. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it was like, I look cute. Okay. But then, you know, so it's like, and then after a while, it was just like, okay, yeah, no big deal. You know?
Right.
It's like getting a Christmas gift, and you be all ecstatic about it. And after time go past, you'll be like, oh, I'll play with that later. It was like one of those type deals.
Now, I know you also deal with a lot of high-profile clients and you worked in a certain type of industry. Do you think that played a part in it? Plus the fact that you always felt like you had a boyish figure?
What you mean?
Because I know you deal with a lot of celebrities, and I know sometimes, like, especially if it's something that you think that you don't have and you see other people with it, it kind of like heighten it even more because you're seeing it so much.
No, I don't think it was that. I don't think it was the celebrity aspect of it. It was, I think, because I had a lot of friends in Atlanta, so it was like I was there a lot.
Right.
So I just think because it was just, that's all you were seeing. It's kind of like, oh, this is the normal.
Right.
You know? So
how long was it before you started to feel the pain?
Well, probably around probably around 2000. Let me see, 14, maybe 12, 14, 10. No, 2010. I started having like sensation.
Like 3 years later? Wow.
But I didn't know that's what it was.
Mm.
You know, nobody knew. You know, so it was like I would have sensations to like cold, or you know how if you lean against a metal rail and it's cold, I would have like this weird sensation that would happen. And I was like, ooh, that's weird. I can't sit on nothing metal. Okay. And then you just don't think about it no more. And then
oh wow,
time passed, and I say like 2012, I started having like it would get real itchy. It would get like red. It'll turn like red spots, and then it would go away. I started having leg swellings and stuff. So then I went to the doctor, and they thought I had an autoimmune disease. So that was going on for like maybe 4 years.
Oh wow.
And then before I had my first swelling, it's crazy because the botch doctors had came on our show on The Real, and I had asked them because I was like kind of over it. So it was one that was like, how can I get this out? You know what I mean? Like I was kind of over the butt. So then they were like, oh, you know, you have silicone. I was like, yeah. And they was like, oh, you can't take it out. That's something that's perfect. No doctor will take it out. So you kind of just stuck with it. So I was just like, dang. So then maybe a month or two later, I had a first leg swelling, but didn't know what it was. So
you never thought that it was your butt. I mean, who would have thought it, right?
Never thought it because I've had it so long that it just was like a part of me. You know what I mean? So it kept happening off and on. So each time it started getting worse and worse and worse to where it would last longer. It would start off with like a little pain by my thigh, like my quad. It would get like sore, and then it would be like a little knot. And then the muscles started growing and swelling, and then it was getting real hot, and I didn't know at the time that it was infection.
Oh wow.
And it would turn like a gray color. My whole leg would start changing colors and swelling. Oh, it was nuts. Every symptom that you've had with a silicone, I had it. It was weird. So this kept happening to go away. Then it was both legs. Then it would go away. It would come back. And so it was random. So then that was like off and on for like 4 years. They couldn't figure out what it was. So then this one particular time I had walked into my host's room, and she was like, why are you walking like that? And I was like, my legs hurt. I'm having that swelling again. She's like, let me see. And she touched my leg, and she pulled her hand back. She said, leave right now. She said, you need to go to the doctor. That's infection. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And she was like, that heat like that? She was like, no.
It was hot like that?
It was hot like fire, to where if you put a bag of ice on my leg, within a minute to 2 minutes, it was water. That's how hot.
My God. What made you keep going? Because you had to be in pain.
I was, but I just was like, you know, it'll go away, but nobody knew what it was. So when I went to the doctor that day, I left the work, went to the doctor, and I had a different doctor than normal. So I sat there, and it just popped. Silicone just popped up in my head. It was weird. And I said, I had silicone injections in 2007. I said, do you think it might be that my body reacting to that? And he was like, what? He was like, no, that don't have nothing to do with it. And he said, I'll be right back. And he went out. He came back with this long needle. And I was like, what is that for? And he was like, this is infection right here. We got to nip this fast. So he gave me a shot, put me on high dose antibiotics, like 875 milligrams of antibiotics. And I had to take them, and I had to come back in a week. So when I came back, I saw a different doctor again. It was a lady, Dr. Del Padilla. And she came in, and she was looking at my chart. And I said, you know, I mentioned to the doctor, on my paperwork, he said bug bite. So they constantly looking for a bug bite. And I was like, I don't think I got bit or anything. And they kept looking. So she was like, it don't look like you got bit. And I said, well, I did mention to him that I had silicone injections in '08. And that had something to do with it? He said no. And she just froze. And she turned around and looked at me and she said, that's exactly what's wrong with you. I'm from Colombia.
Oh, wow.
And I said, what? She said, yes, your body is rejecting the silicone. And I was like, oh my God.
So when all this was going on, did you ever think, or did you ever call the person who did it to you, just to ask her?
I didn't, because nobody knew what it was, and I didn't know because I never thought about the silicone. So once I found out, and then I started researching doctors.
Wow.
And I still never called the person because I didn't, it was just like, oh my God, let me just see if something. And then I found the app Real Self.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know that app.
And then silicone removal started popping up in Dr. Diaz in Colombia, and Cali, Colombia, and Dr. Rio start popping up, right? So I kept going back and forth, looking, and I gravitated towards Dr. Andres Diaz. And that's when Get Body by Jay had her surgery. So then she said Dr. Mendiata, so I looked him up, and I was like, that looks, it was making me nervous how he was doing, the procedure, how he did it. So then
how did he do it?
He was more so like just butchering people. Like I literally sent a video that he was posting of him doing silicone removals to my mom, and she called me like, what is that, a fish? What is that he's cutting? But it was somebody's butt. Because he was gutting.
Hell no.
He literally was gutting out the people's whole inside of their buttocks. So I was just like, oh my God. So then Dr. Gallerani popped up. And then I was like, I didn't like how he was doing kind of the same thing. And then he was more so like, it kind of became like a insurance type deal. Let me like this is an epidemic. Let me get as much money as I kind of sort of thing to me,
right?
From the conversations that I had,
and I feel like over here, a lot of people didn't really know about the side effects because nobody would have thought that it would have came from the injections.
Exactly, nobody knew.
Wow.
So
did you have friends that had it done too? Because I'm thinking, was they expressing it?
No, nobody was having problems. It was like me.
Oh, wow.
It was weird. It was so weird. So I reached out to Dr. Diaz. No, so what happened was, another Dr. Gallerani or Mendiata, one of them, or Dr. 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭, one of them had asked me what kind of silicone. So that's when I called the person, and they were like, oh, it's water-based. Right? So I was like, okay. So I told them, and it was weird because the original shape that I had, all of a sudden, over the 4 years that I was having problems, I went from a size 10 to a 6. That butt went to a 16.
Yeah, I was about to ask you because I remember reading on your post originally before the injections, you was like 121. Right? And so then when you got the injections, when you were just, fine, you went from what size were you?
I was like a 6.
So you went from 121 to a size, well, that's like a size 2. And then I was like, with the injections, you was a size 6. And then when you started getting sick, you went from a size 10 to a
16.
Wow.
It started blowing up. And I was asking my husband, I was like, does my shape look weird to you? Something's going on. And he, men, they like, it look good to me.
Yeah, they like you juicy.
I'm not talking to you. And I'm like, something is happening weird because it was like blowing up like a balloon. And then when I talked to the person that had did it and they said water-based, I was like, oh, that's why it's blowing up, because it's like a balloon.
But how is that possible?
Well, your body's trying to get it out. That's why.
So
only thing it knows to do, depending on the base of the silicone, is how it's gonna respond. So because it's water, it's just blowing up like a balloon. So the hips was getting bigger, the top part of the butt got bigger, the middle and the bottom, it just changed. The shaping changed at the bottom. So only thing is it's gonna blow up and then it's gonna start pushing down, which goes towards your legs.
So how did that physically feel? Because that must have been a lot for you to go from the different sizes.
I started having like really bad back spasms to where I would have to sit. Like if I stand up and work all day, like if I sit, I would have to sit 30 to 45 minutes for my back to calm down for me to be able to go home.
And you're on your feet all day.
So my back muscles had become exhausted. So I had to see a back specialist for that. And then when I went to him, he was like, what is this cotton candy looking stuff right here? What is this white stuff? Because it showed on the x-ray. And I told him, and he was like, what is that? And so he was like, explain it to me in case I run across it again. And I'll know what to do and tell people. So he had me explain the whole silicone thing to him. And then he was like, you're having problems because the weight of it is pulling on my back. So I was having really bad problems with that part.
So how long before you decided that it was time to surgically remove the silicone?
Immediately when I found out it was silicone, I went
you weren't playing no game
manhunt until I found Dr. D is all day, all night. Literally.
Were you nervous about going to the doctor in Colombia?
Not at all.
So once you found him, you know that you was like set in stone. Like that was it.
I found him. I sent him a message. He talked to me through WhatsApp. And then I made my appointment. I sent him the pictures. He gave me a quote. I made my appointment as soon as we wrapped from the reel. And like 2 weeks later after we wrapped, I left. So I had my first surgery May 28th of 2000.
And this is in Colombia?
In Cali, Colombia. Yes.
So you had your first surgery in 2018?
And
how was that? Like, what was the procedure with that? And were you nervous?
No, I was pumped up again. No. I don't get nervous. That's weird. I don't get nervous. I just get excited because I know now I'm about to get help. You know what I'm saying? So I can get my life back. So it's more so that it's not a nervousness at all. So it was just the fact that I finally found a doctor that could get rid of it. And I could not be sick no more because I was so sick and tired of being sick. And that pain, I didn't want to deal with that no more.
And you were sick for like what? Almost 4 or 5 years?
I sure was, and nobody knew it. And then finally, my friend Melanie Mills convinced me to start talking about it on social media, and that's how I started.
Hey guys, the PhD podcast is sponsored by 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 Beauty is a beauty company that I founded, and our very first product is our beautiful mink lashes that you can wear up to 25 times. Yes, 25 times with the proper care. For more information, visit 𝐬𝐵ONEbeauty.com. Use code PHG10 to receive some coins off at checkout. And trust me, y'all, these lashes are really beautiful. Like, I have been receiving nothing but really good reviews on them. So make sure you go to the website, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 Beauty, use the code, and let's get back to this week's episode.
So I told my story, and then a lot of people, even celebrities, was hitting me like, "Oh my God, no," because you don't want to be like that "woe is me" type person. Right. I'm not that kind of person. So
was you embarrassed?
I don't think
I'm the same way. I don't want nobody in my business either.
Well, you know what? It wasn't so much embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed. I just you don't know what it is. But once I found out what was my cause, it was more so not embarrassed that people knew, because people knew I had silicone. So I wasn't embarrassed about that. It was just more so me emotionally knowing the pain that I was, how sick I was. You know, so that was emotional to me, and then talking about it. So it wasn't embarrassed, not at all.
Have anybody, like any celebrities, you don't have to name or anything, but have any celebrities come up to you and like ask you questions and stuff just because maybe they was a little nervous about? Because I know a lot of celebrities get it done as well.
Yeah, I've had all types of people, celebrities, just everyday people from other countries, people that have silicone in their nose. Like, it's from Dubai, from Paris, from all over the world have reached out and been talking that I've talked to ask questions.
So,
but
go ahead.
No, but I was gonna say, when you asked me, go back to when I first got to Colombia, and when I got to Cali, Dr. Diaz was out of the country at a conference.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back, he came from the airport to the recovery house, which was Vital Care Recovery House.
Mm-hmm.
And when he walked in, it was like we was friends forever. And I was like, I just knew right then
That's
the
good.
energy that he gave me, that he was helped, and he was happy, smiling. And every time we see each other, literally we just bust out laughing. Like, it's fun. So he's just that kind of person to be. And I want a doctor that's going to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the truth. Am I going to need one surgery or two? He said, you're probably going to need two because it's so much. Because it's blew up so big.
Wow.
So when I had my first surgery, he literally removed 9 pounds, which was only the top
9 pounds?
It had blew up to 9 pounds on the top part.
Yo, I don't know how you was walking around for almost 5 years, and that's just the top part. That's crazy.
That was just the top. The top part was 9 pounds, and afterwards, and I was just he woke me up, and I said, Dr. Diaz, is that butt gone? And he started laughing and was like, you want to see? So he showed me the pictures, and I was like, oh my God, it was crazy. But I mean, at the end of the day, make sure you get the morphine pump. I'm not selling drugs, but when you get that surgery,
I know that pain must have been crazy.
It was, but you have to have a pump for 4 days. And then his process is, I didn't have drains. Like, you see a lot of these girls walking around with drains and stuff. I didn't have drains.
Well, what's the drains? The drains is what drain the fluid and stuff out, right?
Right, to drain the fluid out.
Mm-hmm.
But what he does is, you get massaged by the nurse, comes daily, and they manually drain you.
Oh,
so
wow.
after 5 days, he doesn't want any more massaging, but you'll continue to get drained if you know. But he wants the body to recognize that I'm supposed to fix myself. You know what I'm saying? So if you got something else that's fixing it for you, your body is kind of traumatized a little bit.
Right.
So, when you wake up, as soon as you feel your legs, you have to walk, like, immediately.
And you gotta get it moving.
Because your body has to know this is supposed to still work,
Damn.
And you only can have the butt open for 6 hours. So after 6 hours, the whole thing dies off. So my first surgery was 5.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. And then, so have you had your second surgery yet, or no?
Yeah. Yes, I had my second surgery July 23rd.
And
I just had it.
And how was it?
This one was a little more painful because he took out the bottom. So he took 5 pounds off the bottom, 3 pounds off the hips. So he took the hips out, the bottom. He cut my skin and had to reconstruct the shape of my butt on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then because my body blew up so big, my boobs was humongous.
Wow.
So I had to get a breast reduction because they were so heavy.
And that's almost 20 pounds from the silicone.
It came to 17 pounds.
Wow.
And he took 2 pounds off my chest.
So how are you feeling now?
I feel awesome. I feel amazing.
You sound good.
I really do. Like, it's a trip because when you wake up from surgery, you literally can tell that it's gone. It's a weird feeling. And the best way that I can explain it is I feel clean. After this surgery, I feel clean on the inside. Wow. It's weird. And then maybe like 5 days after my surgery, my whole skin, everything just started changing. Like, it just started getting real clear. It was weird.
No, that's good. Because the affection is out of you.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a great thing, but it was just how you just don't realize that the things that we put in our body and do to ourselves, how much we contaminate our own self.
Is all of the silicone removed?
From what I understand, yes, I'm done having surgery.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned from this?
The biggest lesson is that, okay, I'm going to say this. A lot of people ask me, you know, they try to make me feel bad because I made the decision to get the silicone. And I tell people, you can't make me feel bad about a decision that I made.
What would they say to make you feel bad? That's kind of rude.
Like, no, but you'd be surprised. I've even had a doctor tell me that, and I had to get her straight. And then she apologized to me because she was like, I never thought about it like that, you know? And it's like, you know, like, do you feel dumb because you got that? No, I don't. You know, it's like, why would I? Because I feel like, honestly, if I wouldn't have got it, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with you right now to help somebody else. I would have never experienced that pain in the side effects and the reactions and having the surgery to be able to help lead somebody else to get help. So I look at it like that. Everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that's what has happened. Like that happened to me for me to help somebody else or help as many people as I can to feel better, to not be sick.
Have you ever thought about reaching out to the person who did it now?
Who did? Yeah, I talked to him already. I talked to him.
Oh, wow. How did that conversation go?
Yeah. I mean, like regular, you know? It was just like, you know, when you start having problems, why you didn't call me or whatever. And I was like, I just found out that it was from the silicone. But like, you know, other people have gotten it done by the same person. And it's like, I'm mad at them. But my thing is, why are you mad at somebody that you asked for a service from? You decided to get that. I'm not going to be mad at the person because they did it to me.
Right.
I asked for it. I paid for that. So
it's a choice.
It's a choice. So I don't blame anybody. I'm not mad at anybody. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I'm thankful that I was able to get help. And that's where I leave it at.
And is it expensive to get the surgery? Because I know when I was doing my research, the prices vary. But it also depends on the situation because everybody's situation is different.
Bingo. And I tell everybody, ask me, how much did you pay? I don't discuss money. It's like if I refer a hairstylist, I don't discuss their prices. Everybody is different. So every situation is different. You know? So I just tell them, reach out to Dr. Andrews Diaz. And then here's his assistant Liz's contact as well on WhatsApp. Send him your pictures. If you have an MRI, you can send that too. I got mine done out there in Columbia. And he'll give you a price. You know? So you can't say what the price is because you don't know what some people have more, some people have less.
Right. That's true.
You know, some people have a little bit of silicone so they can get a BBL after. So I can't. You know what I mean?
But when I looked at your picture, you still got a shape.
I do.
Because I do. Yeah, I think you posted a picture. And I'm like, she still got a butt.
I was shocked. I thought I was going to be flat like a pancake like I was at first. And
no, your body still looks good.
And Dr. Diaz was like, you got a cute shape. And I was like, what? Because I was so swollen after my surgery. I just looked like two people. That's how swollen I was.
Really?
Oh, yeah. My body, it was nuts. It was a lot. He had to remove a lot. He removed 8 pounds this time.
And when you say pounds, was it like was it hard, like a lump or something?
It was like it's like it's a lot. It's clumped together. But when you look at it, normally the silicone is like chia seeds. It's weird. That's what it looks like. But mine had swollen up so much today it was the size. You can see it in parts where it had swollen up to like jelly beans.
Oh, wow.
So it was just like 8 pounds of silicone.
Wow.
You know? So, you know, it's just, you know, I don't know. I'm just happy to be able to.
I'm happy for you. You look good.
Thank you, to be normal. And I had that big old dumb booty and them hips. I'm telling you. I'm so over it. Oh, my God.
So what's some advice you would give to our listeners about receiving silicone injections, or if they already have it or thinking about doing it? Because it's still popular to this day.
No, it is. It is. And I've had people reach out to me that's only had it for 2 years and having problems already. So my thing is this. If you can save your money, save your money. Do your research You know, you might have to go, and the laws and the medical laws and everything has changed in Cali, Colombia, and they have amazing doctors down there. They really do. They're state of the art. It really is nice down there. And save your money and just get a BBL. It's better. It's more natural. It's your own body fat, you know, and just get that. They have care credit. They have, you know, medical credit you can Google that people, you know, and you can do it like that and just pay monthly payments. It's ways that you can get if you want to get that done, but please don't get silicone. Some people have problems, some people don't. But you don't know which person you're going to be. You don't know if you are or you're not going to have problems. But why take a chance? When I got silicone injections, BBLs wasn't around. So that wasn't an option.
Yeah, you got it when it first started getting popular.
So that wasn't an option. But, you know, if anybody needs help or they just want to talk to somebody and figure out what's going on or what they can... I don't have a problem with people talking to me. I don't have a problem with people reaching out to me, emailing me or whatever. You know, I just want people to get help, to acknowledge that they have an issue. And if you don't nobody in your family know, you have to tell somebody that you're close to so they can know what's going on. Because when
especially if something's going on, if something happens.
If something happened, you have to. And be very, very, very careful with the doctors that you choose. Do your research. Do your research. Do your research. Because a lot of doctors now are saying they can lipo silicone. Lipo cannot be sucked through a vacuum. You know what I'm saying? It's just imagine your cell phone case. That's silicone. You know what I mean? So you can't put a vacuum or something and suck your phone case through a tube. You have to cut.
And I've been. No, go ahead.
No, you have to cut that out. You know, so a lot of people are getting liposuction, and what's happening is the doctors, when they lipo, they're lipoing out your good tissue and your own body fat. So when you
before I found you, I was reading a lot of horror stories about these doctors that saying they can do something and they making the situation
worse.
Like deadly worse.
Okay. Yeah, deadly worse. And now it's crazy because Dr. Diaz, and it's weird, we had this conversation when I was down there. A lot of the girls from America that have been got liposuction, the doctor said they can take the lipo to suction the silicone out, are now coming to him. And when they come to him, they don't have any body fat. All their good tissue for your body to repair itself is gone. So now they're just stuck with silicone. So once he takes the silicone out, we don't have anything. You know, you know what I'm saying? Deformed. But he's not a person to leave you deformed. So he came up with a new technique to help. And he's amazing. I'm telling you, he's amazing.
Well, listen, if anybody listening, y'all need a doctor. She dropped the doctor name. So
I'm telling you, I'm just
tell
saying.
them where you heard it from.
You want somebody, the bedside manner means a lot to me. I don't want a doctor that's going to take my money and then I don't hear from you again. Or now when I come to you, you treat me like crap because I have the silicone. I don't already know that I have it. I already feel bad that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already feel bad about how I feel. I'm sick or whatever. Like, I don't need you to make me feel like crap. Right. You're there doctors are there to help people.
Right.
You know? So, that's it. You know?
Well, the $1 million question. Do you regret it?
What, getting silicone?
Mm-hmm.
No, because I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you to help somebody.
There you go. But I think this was an amazing interview. I know for sure people are going to be emailing me, so I'm going to definitely send you their information. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, remarks, or you just want to say, hey, good episode, please email me at hello@theprofessionalhomegirl.com. Thank you so much for listening to the PhD podcast. And until next time, guys, later.
Later.
The Professional Homegirl podcast is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. And you can connect with me on social media at the PhD Podcast.